Hello, and this is my first thoughts while reading vlog. I'm recording this in the midst of doing a reading vlog, so this won't be up until I finish this book, Sadie by Courtney Summers. It's an advanced reader's copy. I got this from Wednesday's Books, and yeah, I'm gonna be doing thoughts while reading Sadie. So stay tuned for my thoughts. I'll be checking in every few pages. So I took a little reading break. And here is my first check-in with thoughts while reading Sadie. I love the fact that when you start the book, it's like, wow, you have to, it's basically like in a podcast form. So you're basically reading like interview and conversations like a real podcast. And then it jumps into Sadie. And stuff like that. It delved a little bit on her childhood, and the podcast part of the story is basically describing everything that led up to why she left and what happened, like what were the events that led up to everything, because supposedly she's like missing, and then her side of the story, she starts off with the day she goes missing. Not really the events of what happened before, what triggered her to go missing, but the podcast like fills that in. So yeah, I'm loving it so far. I'm up to page 39 in the podcast section. I love this arc. I love this book generally so much. As soon as I read it, I was like, yes, I needed this, because after I finished reading Loved, I was like, oh man, I hope this book isn't good, but so far, only being at page 39, worth it. So as soon as it comes out September 4th, you definitely have to pick it up. So yeah, I'm going to keep reading. Check back with you guys later. Alright, so I'm up to a part of the story that's like pretty dark. So if you have certain triggers, I would not recommend this book, but it's good. I mean, how can I say it without spoiling the book? Alright, so Sadie basically, she disappears, quote unquote, she disappears. And the podcast is like, the guy from the podcast is like trying to investigate why she disappeared, and her surrogate grandmother wants to know what happened to her, because she's like, devastated that she's gone or whatever. And then in Sadie's version of like her adventure that she disappeared on, she's basically looking out for her sister's murder. But it's going back to like her childhood and someone that was part of her childhood. But that's as far as I can go and tell y'all without spoiling the book. Oh man, it's good. It's a little heartbreaking, and yeah, I'm after the part where the podcast part ends, and I'm up to the part where Sadie's talking, telling her story, and yeah, it's her part is dark, so yeah, be prepared if you get this book. So that's so far my thoughts while reading Sadie. Pretty intense. I just I can't even talk. I just finished reading Sadie by Courtney Summers, and I cried because there was some closure, but not complete closure for Sadie. But I'm glad everything came to light that needed to. But yeah, I recommend for you to have some tissues and a lot of, it's a triggering book, but it was good. It was so good, and it's been so long since a book actually like sat here and made me cry and like actually feel so much, and it was such a good book. Such a good book. Like, I give it 5 stars There was nothing in this book wrong with it at all. Like, me personally, I believe that this book was complete and utter perfection. And now I want to read more of Courtney Summers' books. So yeah, if you see this book, get it. 5 stars. And for me to give a book 5 stars takes a lot. So there's some notes I made, like some tags, like in this one part, when Sadie's talking, it says, I'm going to steal the light from his eyes. I want to watch it go out. You aren't supposed to answer violence with more violence, but sometimes I think violence is the only answer. It's no less than he did to Maddie, so it's no less than he deserves. Then in another part, that's just a little snippet. In this part, it says, maybe that's not the worst thing in the world, she snaps. You shouldn't be chasing after someone that's fucking sick in the soul, father or not. Her eyes goes wide. Did he hurt you? And then in another part, it says, love stories, romances leave a personal, I can't even read right now. Love stories, romances leaves a person secure in the knowledge they'll end up happily ever after. And who wouldn't want a story like this? I wish this was a love story, because I know how it goes in one like mine, where the only moments of reprieve are the spaces between its lines. But here's the thing, I tell myself to dull the sharp edges of everything that's sure left to come. The worst has already happened. The song ends. And so those were like my 3 favorite parts, and then it just gets super dark and everything unravels in the end. So yeah, I really enjoyed the fact that it was like a podcast, and then it goes back to like her telling her parts, her little parts, but it was like in an interview style of a podcast, like the manuscript of a podcast. And yeah, that's my thoughts on Sadie. I really enjoyed it. So that's it for now. Bye.